All right, guys, welcome to the Remori podcast number 3. This one is going to be a little bit different. I've typically been doing them off of the newsletter Anchor Point kind of essay styles that I've been writing and releasing every Monday at 6. This one, I really don't have where I'm going with that newsletter yet, so I'm not really tying this one to it. But hey, this podcast is really going to be an addition to one that we've already made. It was about a concept of doing something really big each year and then doing things daily and consistently to improve incrementally each day, even if it's very small, right? Those two concepts had, Japanese philosophy terms with them called Kaizen and Misogi. I've written about it. There's a full podcast about it, but in short, I wanted to add to it because I realized there was something I was missing with it, and it's the reflection. And I don't know the Japanese term that goes with it, but the whole idea of reflection. And this has been on my mind since a really good friend of mine just announced that him and his wife are going to have a baby. And I was like, man, what advice would I give myself in that moment going back? And I have 3 kids now, and 3 and 5 months old. So I was like, what advice would I give me or a person who's about to have their first child, especially a dad, a leader wanting to make the most of that? And here's kind of what I would say on that one is going to be reflection. And what I mean by that is create to reflect. So I do this a few different ways in my family, in my life, and with my family. And the really simple one is making videos. It's just vacation videos. If we're doing something, birthday videos, Easter, those kind of things. And I simply just make videos. And the quality doesn't really matter is what I realized with this. It's just capturing moments that you're going to miss. And it's with just kids, man. Like if you're going on a vacation, 5-10 seconds of, hey, this is what we're doing, this is where we're going. Some funny stuff of telling a story of like them getting ready, making them pack their own suitcase. There's little funny things you want to see them do. A 5 to 10 second clip of in the car, then arriving and seeing their reaction to where they're going. And then, them getting excited when they walk in the house and they see all the cool things and furniture to jump on. And you just get 5 second to 10 second clips of just kind of the story, just snapshotting it. And we have really cool moments like your kid running on the beach, man, just follow them. And what I realized is making these videos, not only do I just like making videos, I've always kind of enjoyed doing that, is this, man, like that when we reflect back on them, when we pull up the video, throw it on the living room screen and just watch it. And man, I'm such a softie now because I got 3 daughters and I get so emotional watching them because somebody sent me something, a friend of mine sent me, he said, just know the next time, well, how'd it go? He was talking about bringing your kids to the beach. Just saying the next time you bring your kid to the beach, it will be a different kid in a way, meaning like they've grown up and they've matured and they're older, and it's just not the same little kid like when they're running around with little floaties. Like next year they may not be running around with the floaties again, and or like it's just it really just got to me that it really let me capture the moment because a lot of vacation videos are to the beach and we go do the fun beach things, but like man, they just keep growing in those videos. So in short, I just want to talk about kind of like the discipline and reflection. I think it was Socrates that said an unexamined life is a life not worth living. And I think a big part of that is all about self-development and growth and understanding of how to seek wisdom and where do you need to grow in your life. And I do think if you're not growing, you're dying. I do think you have to actively be growing in areas of your life, whether it's your faith, your wisdom, your ability to give, your ability to be a father, your workplace. I think growth is a huge element of life, and I think that's why we see so many issues with retirement. I work in education, and there's a whole slew of things to talk about in education when it comes to retirement and how all the benefits of being an educator. But long story short is so many teachers, they talk about retirement. They get so excited. 2 years, 4 years left, 3 years left, 2 more years and I'm out of here. Last year they're cashing in all their days. And if you're a principal, you know what I'm talking about because you got to find those subs. But they start cashing their days and they're so excited. They celebrate. You do the big party and stuff at the end. About 2 months goes by. And the way the retirement in Texas works for teachers is you have to take a year off before you get back in education. So you can't, I don't know all the words, but it's just another way to, get you by the goat. But anyways, once within a couple months, they're already calling back saying, "Hey, if you have anything open, I kind of want a long-term sub, or if any positions open up." And it's one of those where it's kind of sad because once you think you want that retirement, you think you want that rest, but then that's when the growth stops. And man, I think that's why a lot of people get addicted to trivial things. Like I say trivial, and I'm probably gonna catch some heat for this, but like golf, when you retire, like, oh man, I'm just gonna go golfing because does give you like manageable targets. Like, oh, I would be shooting like triple digits, but like, I shot a 83, and you keep growing, you keep trying, and the next time you have some good hits, you shoot a little better, you shoot a little better. Those elements of growth kind of drives us. I don't think we're just meant to be stagnant. I don't think we're meant to do that. But anyways, talking about the art of reflection in a sense of just joy, like it's a gift to yourself. If you're willing to learn basic photography, videography of just like knowing how to somewhat set a scene, knowing how to somewhat tell a story, but really just focus on the kids of just things they're doing. And man, it's a gift to yourself, it's a gift to your family, it's a gift to your kids. It's that little element of recording a video in big moments in your life and little moments. There's times where I record videos on the goofiest stuff, like playing hide and seek, and I mean just goofy stuff. And I'm telling you, like, when you go back and watch it, it means the world. So I was just thinking about, hey, if you're in that situation, you're just now about to have a kid, man, just start. And it doesn't, don't make it complicated. Get some easy software. Um, just tell the story with 5 to 10 second clips. Don't overcomplicate it. A lot of people think you have to have like these big 10, 20 minute scenes where you're only going to try to capture, but no. Like, so, if I were to shoot a video right now, if we have another kid, which would be number 4, which is insane to think about, I would probably try to tell more of the story throughout because there's a lot of stuff I left out. I do these videos of, not, I guess their birth date or like birth videos, but not the crazy parts of it, just like kind of leading up to it. And then most of the time in that moment, I turn the camera away and you just hear what's going on and you hear that, the baby come out and start crying and the before and after. So, but anyways, I make those videos, and I think if I were to make one now, I'd probably try to tell more of the story of my wife through it because she's got, I think it's called like Factor 5 or something. And it's where it's like a blood clotting thing where she's got to take a shot every single day. And I thought about this, that I've never really told that side of the story of like the sacrifice that she has, because it's pretty incredible. Um, the strength and the consistency to stab yourself with a needle every single night. Her whole belly's getting bruised. But anyways, just kind of tell the story, because I'm telling you, that video is such a gift later on. The most recent one I made was a vacation video to went down to Galveston with my parents, and they absolutely spoiled us and our kids or their grandkids. And it was one thing where like we couldn't really pay them back for what they did just for us to have this experience. But I made a video on that. And I really did try to capture a lot of the video of them interacting and playing together, and the moments that they're going to everybody wants to remember with the kids. And ended up being, that's all I could give them. It's like, hey, this is the philosophy of reflecting on these amazing moments is all I can give you. And that's really what it comes down to in life. So I do it a couple of different ways, and I've started to add a little bit more elements on that. So, obviously people take pictures and they post them online. Like, that's cool. Facebook will remind you, like you'll have this year versus last year. And like, it's good. I do think everyone feels how, having 6,000 pictures on your phone and get reminded something on Google Photos and Prime, Amazon Photos and Facebook and Instagram, I think it does water it down a little bit. So something we started doing is we got one of those little bitty Bluetooth printers that make pictures like, let me see if I can get it on camera. I'm gonna go off script for a second. Let's see. I don't know if you can see them right here. So like right here, this is my year in advance calendar where I'll reflect on kind of everything. I'll put big goals up there in the future. A couple of them real quick. I guess I can bring it over there. Let's see. All right. So essentially what I have here is just pictures of each month of like things that we've done. And that's just my kids' big moments. And then throughout the year, I'll have bigger goals on there. Like right there, we ran, me and my brothers ran an ultra. But anyways, the whole idea of it was to be able to, one, it goes back to that examined life where I can look at, let me see if I'm still recording and everything's good. That didn't work well at all. You probably didn't see a lot of that. But anyways, it gives me a snapshot of the year. So I hope you got all that. I'm kind of nervous that my audio went out, but long story short, like I use that to plan my big events that we talked about earlier, like the Muskogee events of like, hey, I'm going to put something on that calendar that scares me. The most recent this year was that ultra marathon at 32 miles, which it was that's a story for itself. But we completed it, me and my three other brothers. That was a pretty cool moment. And another one was my first kind of public speaking event type thing that I put on there, and had hopes to make it happen, and ended up working out and doing all right. So so kind of like the looking forward, and then the everyday part of it on the right side over there, which I don't think you saw. I put favorite moments, favorite quotes, favorite books. So you can kind of see the everyday Kaizen philosophy of like, okay, I'm reading and this is what I'm working on. I put some habits, everyday habits that I'm trying to do. Um, like right now, read, write, pray. That's on there because I want to read every day. I want to write every day. I want to pray every day, intentionally pray. And then the other one is no phones from 5 to 8 p.m. So that's some, daily habits, Kaizen concepts. But anyways, going back to the reflection of that little bitty printer to get a physical picture, it just means more. It's tactile, like holding it and even taking some pictures and giving it as gifts, like, and it's just the little gift of like a thank you card with a couple pictures in there. Man, that has really, really changed my perspective of, capturing the moment. And then another one, which is really cool. My oldest daughter is 5 years old. So I got her one of those little what's it called? Insta something cameras. It's where you take the picture and it rolls out. It's kind of like the old school Polaroids. I got her one of those, and I was like, you know what? A little pricier than I thought, by the way. Like I think it was like a $90 camera, and then I think the film was like, it's almost like $1 a picture. I think it is. I think it was like 40 or 30, $35 for 40 pictures. So I got her additional ones with that. And anyways, gave that to her. And I was like, hey, baby, why don't you take some pictures of this? Like, think about big, cool moments. Think about, when something really fun happens, or when you're with people and people are having fun. Think about this. Once again, she's 5. First picture she took, which I wish I had, was the picture of the hot tub that was at the house, just halfway cut off. I'm like, all right, this is going to go awful. But anyways, I started with more controls. Like, okay, let's try to let's make a list of pictures we want to take. I did that with her, and she did a really good job of taking some pictures. And what we ended up doing was I printed out one of the big pictures that we took with my parents, turned it into, using ChatGPT, turned it into like a coloring sheet with my girls' color, and then I pasted some of those small pictures of the Insta one that came out. And man, that was the coolest gift I could have given them that in the video, right? So I've really seen the power of reflection lately. When I thought about my buddy, who he actually saw the video, one of the videos I released, and we reached out, started chatting again. We haven't talked in a while, and he was very complimentary, and we talked about his what he was about to go into with having a baby, and I was like, man, what is that one piece of advice? And that's what I would say. So when it comes to reflection, I think there's some good habits in place. Like I said, I always go back to journaling. That's something I do believe really changed my life when I started daily journaling every single day, no matter what. At nighttime, wife and I would get in bed, turn my light on next to me, and I'm gonna just right before I go to bed, because that's when I operate more. I'm more of a night owl, anyways. But journaling, just the gratitude, what happened today, my thoughts of the day, what I want to do tomorrow, prayer life, all of that completely shifted. And that's like the one advice, if I could ever give anybody, is just start doing that in intention and reflection. And like what Socrates said, an unexamined life is one not worth living. It just defeats that immediately, because you're examining your life every single day. Like, you're thinking about what happened. You're thinking about the emotions and thoughts and how you perceive what happened, your plans for tomorrow, maybe some goals of like, I don't want to do that again. That sucked. I need to get better at this. Hey, I'm reading this right now. This was a quote that I heard. You start writing all those things, and then all of a sudden it's almost like it gives substance to past lived experiences. Because I think so many times I just think about all the just times and days, hours, weeks, and maybe even years of my life that I really can't reflect on what I did. Like, I'm also just have a bad memory, but I mean, I'm just thinking about, like, there's so much like insignificance in years without planning the bigger things, without trying to improve. and without reflecting on it that you're just gonna miss. Um, so I'm kind of beating, I guess, a dead horse at this point, but I think it could look a lot of different ways, and I think you can really tailor it to what you enjoy doing. So if you enjoy writing poetry, right, and you want to make a poem of a trip that you took, or there's a I can't remember who it was. It's some influencer, YouTuber, whatever else. I think my camera just died. Oh no, my gimbal just got died. It's not ideal at all. So I'm see if I can hold it right here. Are you kidding me? So, anyways, um, dude, this is insane that this just happened. Okay, I'm on my gimbal on a tripod. So, anyways, this influencer, um, she was like a really good artist, and what she would do is she'd capture kind of 1 to 2 kind of moments, like at the beach, it's going to be a kid feeding a seagull or whatever it might be, and she would like paint it, and during like that was kind of a relaxing thing to do while she's out there. And I was like, that's super cool, but like no artistic ability when it comes to that. So I mean, it really could look different on the way you reflect. I mean, if you're a photographer, it could be like one really good picture that you're gonna like frame up, or I mean, there's so many different ways where you can capture and add substance to those past lived experiences where it's like it's just tactile, you can feel it, see it, it just adds layers of depth to the experience. And that's something I would just highly recommend doing. Is like, how could I capture this moment easily? That's within my wheelhouse. Because if so, for one example with like videography, it can be difficult. There's some gear with it. Like right now, I'm using a gimbal that I guess I just didn't charge. But anyways, and it's one of those where I bought the gimbal to bring it on vacations to try to get that really silky smooth, um, you know, just footage, and it kind of gets in the way sometimes. I'm carrying a baby on one hip, baggage on another one. Like it's never easy. Like if I was hired as a videographer for another family, like I could probably do a really good job, but actually taking care of my family in those, you're going into restaurants and you're trying, there's a little kid has a blowout, the oldest one's screaming and crying. Like it's hard to capture everything with with the, real professional equipment where you're like, okay, honey, you stay right here. I'm going to set up this. We're going to walk together. What audio do you want? You just can't. Right. So a lot of mine is just capturing the moment. I put some music on the background of it. Every now and then when there's some really good audio, especially if my girl's talking, like I'll, cut out the music. So what I'm saying is don't make it such a thing to where it kind of takes away from being present in the vacation too. Um, that's a tough one, because or the vacation or the moments, right? Like if you're about to have a child, don't be more concerned with what frame rate you're going to use. All right. Like just capture it. But it's just the art of reflection. And I just think without reflection, it's just what are we doing? Like you don't get to enjoy the lived life. You only just stress about the now and the future, or plan for the future. It's just kind of a weird thing to think about all those great moments that we anticipate throughout the year and save up for without any kind of real reflection or enjoying it. Or maybe we enjoy it in the moment and never look at it again. It's just kind of a waste. Like I can't tell you how many times I've pulled up those videos that maybe like we have some family over, or like, oh, you remember that, that shark that we caught at the beach, and all this happened. It's like, yeah. Oh, you remember that too? And then we all start talking about it, and we pull up the video. And it's just cool, so cool to relive it. So, um, anyways, this video, this podcast is gonna be a little bit of a shorter one. I don't have the full anchor point written yet on the newsletter. When I do that, I'll probably release another one this week as well. But at this point, guys, I mean, really, if you are subscribed, if you are getting these videos, if this is coming across, you're kind of in that zone to where I've finally given myself the permission to suck. And hear me out on this. It's to a point in my life where I'm, instead of being fearful of reactions and fearful of putting myself out there, I'm finally to the point where like, you know what, I'm going to do this. Like, I'm just going to do it. Like, I'm going to be disciplined, and I'm going to release at least one podcast a week. I definitely want to release more videos than that. But I was like, I'm going to do this. And it's kind of like the writing concept of like, I'm going to release one newsletter per week. And I did that. And almost coming up on a year, and I have a full video and idea plan for that. But the discipline of that opened up so many different doors. And I go back and read the first few of them, and they're not good. I mean, I'm not a good writer now, but really in comparison to where I was, I'm significantly better. And I couldn't get here without sucking at riding first, and I'm kind of right here with a video. I literally am holding up my gimbal with my left hand, and that's why it's like all shaking like this. But there's so many parts of my life where I just made excuses, and like I didn't have all these lights, and I was like, you know what? Once I get the cool light and the good microphone, and once I get the the cool backdrop, and then I can make cool videos. And that's really just not the case. Like I just stopped. I didn't let myself be creative and take risks just for fear of perception of probably people that I don't really know for the most part. I mean, I know there's gonna be some obviously some family and friends on this too, but, that's one of those where I've built a pretty good network where, people support people and whatever their endeavors are, we're gonna support each other. So, it was just this very vague fear of perception of others. So anyways, I digress a little bit, but if you're getting this at this point, guys, I know the quality is not great. I hope the concepts are at least thought provoking, gives you some ideas. But the whole goal here is trying to, once again, that Kaizen of trying to get better through daily and weekly actions and habits that we build. And right now, for me, it's definitely writing. That's one where I can't, like, I'm gonna make some videos soon too about what doors it opened that I never expected. But two, just being so much more intentional with my time, whether it's this or, like I said, the reflection, and hopefully create a library of resources that one day my kids can see and use. Because I thought that was the coolest thing when I lost my grandparents, all the things that they wrote and interacted with and created. Like, anyways, once again, I am going off. But if you are watching, if you are somehow in my friend circle, family circle watching this, I really appreciate you. If it catches some random people, I hope it brought some value to you, man. I just think life is so short, but it's so good, and you just got to go make the most of it. Like you're the only thing stopping you from the life you want to have and the life you want to live. I think you are the bridge from where you are and where you want to be. Like you are what's stopping you from getting there. And right now, like we're in the ugly part of building the foundation of this, making these videos that I'm enjoying making. That's really pushing me to think a little bit, pushing me to speak better, which I'm not a great speaker. So it's one of those where I'm just going to keep hammering on. Like I'm going to keep posting at least one video per week, and I'm trying to get it to where I can get these clipped out and shared on all the different social medias. So right now it's just typically just YouTube, and I'm sharing through the newsletters, and I'm eventually gonna start posting on other platforms. But anyways, guys, if you're to this point, if you followed anything for this long, I seriously appreciate you. But yeah, it might just be a few views, but we got better today. Life's short, make the most of it. See you guys.